Welcome to the thenolaroexperien podcast. Raw, honest, relatable experiences that help us grow. Are you subscribed? If not, what are you waiting for? Go! And please, leave a review and help us grow while you're at it. Thank you.
On today's episode, I am here with the guys from the Freedom Cage podcast. Wave, guys. Say hi.
Hi, guys.
Say cheese, Marlon. The SOA, Q&A, and of course, today's happy habit. Shawn and Kenny, do you want to give a quick intro of your podcast, or do you want to get right to the meat?
You gotta do the intro. I gotta do the intro. Got it. One good time. I'm good to you, you get one at that.
Oh man, so we are Freedom Cage Podcast, man. I mean, we started this back in 2021. Me and my man here, we grew up together, always told like really cool stories, and we just decided to document this thing, man. It's been a cool journey so far.
Been making a lot of sense. Long story short, exactly what Shawn said.
You know what? I'll say what I like your podcast. You guys are funny.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
You're a little funnier than Shawn. Yeah, Shawn is a little cuter.
You had to say it so quickly.
It's just a little. It's like by half a point. Okay. So I am so excited to have you guys here to talk about gender wars. I know that
Spicy.
Is it spicy?
Sometimes, depending on where you want to go with it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? I'm curious to know your story. I'm gonna get into your business even more.
I'm trying to be quiet on a talking show.
But when you hear the term gender wars, I think people are like, oh, what's gonna happen? And it's not always something neurotic and crazy and wild going on between, regardless of the relationship, whether it's romantic, at work, family. It could be the subtle little things. And I do remember I was on your podcast too. And obviously that means we have receipts.
Is this true?
I had an experience where you talked about how you handle arguments.
Yes, gaslighting. I'm kidding.
Hey,
Hey, listen, I'm real about my growth, my journey. Yeah.
That's what's up. Good luck with that. I found a new way to cope with that, but we'll get into that later.
I like that he's like, you're not gonna throw anything on me. I'm putting a label on it, gaslighting.
Yeah, you gotta be upfront.
So, but that's what I mean. Do you think your gaslighting is something that you do with everybody? Or is it specific to your wife? Or do you feel like sometimes or sometimes it's more directed at women?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Okay,
So I know I definitely do it with my wife. I don't know. Matter of fact, I do know. I think what it is for me is just I like to win. You know what I mean? Like you remember in the podcast I was talking about like keeping score, and that's what Kenny was like. We ain't keeping score no more. Like I don't know. I guess it comes from not having that voice and being heard when I was young. So now that I'm older, if I got the chance to win an argument or win a conversation, I'm gonna try to win it. It's only when I got into leadership in like 2018 and dealing with different personalities, I realized I can't win all the time. I gotta learn how to collaborate and understand.
Yeah. Well, I think it's great that you're aware of it, but I think I'm gonna shame you a little bit.
Ooh.
The shameful part is when you're aware and you still do it.
Yeah.
It's nasty work.
It is.
That is a nasty way to look at it.
He's like, I know where it stems from and everything, but I'm still unleashing it.
It's a process.
See me personally though, I've grown a little bit on that aspect. I've learned I have 2 ears, 1 mouth, and I like to be quiet until all the facts are out. Then I can build my case and then give a good rebuttal. That's like,
So you're doing the exact thing
no, he
as
did
Shawn.
gaslighting. I don't know what that is. But, me personally.
So Shawn is very competitive, and he's bringing the competition into the relationship. I don't know if I feel comfortable saying that competitive energy is more men, more males.
Absolutely. It's our job.
You think so?
You think so?
You think it leans towards men more?
Absolutely. It's our job. It's our role.
All right. Well, I'm kind of letting you say that.
Uh-huh.
'Cause I'm leaning towards it, but I'm afraid to just. So Kenny said it. It's the guys who are more competitive. And okay, so he mentioned gaslighting, and he mentioned that he's competitive. But you're saying that you also implement like really strong strategy.
Yes.
So don't you think there's
Well,
similar?
No, there's nothing wrong with having a playbook.
There's nothing wrong with having a
No,
playbook.
you should go into the game knowing what you want to do.
So you're playing a game?
Isn't everything?
No.
Divulge. Not much of a playbook kind of game, but you shouldn't go into anything blind, I would say. So having a playbook or some sort of strategy on how you're going to get to the other side of it is always beneficial, in my opinion. But in order to do that, very similar to a lawyer, it's good to just sit back, be quiet, get all the facts in from that other party, whether it be corporate life, parental life, whatever it is that you may do.
I have a confession though. I have to
go
confess.
go on. I'm nervous.
I do the exact thing.
You have to. You have to.
I do the exact thing.
Let that person like dig their ditch. Go, ooh.
That's me.
That's where you're going.
That's me.
Just
I always.
sidestep this hole and let you know what you shouldn't do.
That's me.
That's the best way to do it.
That's me. I do that.
But that's not gaslighting, though. That's your
No. I was
Okay.
just saying that there's still some type of competition there. Like I want to win this. No.
I would say yes, but our strategy in that aspect, we're happy with the fourth quarter comeback. We'll let you lead the whole game. As long as we got more points at the end, it's still a win.
Is this a marriage thing or is this
It's a life thing.
you on a whole?
That's a life thing.
Okay.
I think you can do that on any level, but it can be done either way. Personally, I think.
What do you hear what do you think of when you hear the term gender wars?
It's weird because I understand that gender wars are a thing. It will forever be a thing.
You
But
think
there-
so?
Yeah, but there are some things both genders need to understand that both aren't capable of doing. Outside of the necessities, the bare minimums of reproduction or physical stature, that's one thing. But there are other jobs and missions in life that some roles just need to take that responsibility for. I'm not saying the trash. You know what I mean? Like as far as a couple or relationship, but the guy usually does that. If there's a light to be fixed, sometime the guy usually takes care of it. No one gave that person that responsibility in the relationship. It just kind of came with the field. You know what I mean? But if an egg needs to be cooked, anyone can do that. You know what I mean? It's not something that one person needs to do. If one does it better in a relationship, I feel they should do that job. But nothing is strictly assigned. Can't be.
Yeah.
Okay, so you went straight to gender roles.
Yeah.
What about the war aspect of it? What are those subtle little things that you feel we're always going to be neck and neck or
Intelligence. Period. Especially in a corporate life. We'll always be neck and neck as far as intelligence. Because you can learn what I can learn. There's something you can't take from any gender.
But why are we neck and neck?
Because we're all both smart. Male and female.
And is someone trying to tell the other one they're not? I'm trying to figure out why there's a war. Is somebody else trying to get the upper hand over the other?
Absolutely.
And which group is that?
It's always the smarter one. So it's weird. It's never a direct group in that aspect. It's always the smarter person in said field.
Do you agree with that?
I think differently. For me, it's really just how society views us, the competition of value in our roles as far as, I want to say corporate life, professionalism. I think that's where I see it the most. In the household, it's more so how are we supposed to cohesively work as a unit and get away from how society has created roles. And I think that is something we can change, but it's tough because in certain moments we've been ingrained since we were kids to believe that this is the way things should go. And me and Kenny have talked about this before. we've had open conversations with our wives about, this is just what we knew coming in to marriage, that, the wife is supposed to do these things. And we're being told right now that that's not the case anymore. So now we have to retrain our minds like, all right, yeah, we got to wash dishes too. We got to cook too. We got to, clean too. And I mean, I'll speak for myself. I try to do stuff. I'm not gonna lie on here, y'all. I don't do dishes. I'm sorry. I will not do a dish. You know what I'm saying? I'm a paper plate dude out the gate. But I think that's the biggest gender war, especially in professionalism. I see it every day. The fight for value, the fight for equity, and I'm on their side. It doesn't make any sense.
But I do feel like the fight for value, the fight for equity is mainly women.
Correct. They're fighting uphill versus us just kind of maintain where we are.
And that's what I was trying to get at, like the disparities and the back and forth and the neck and neck. It's because women feel undervalued, or there's also the idea that, women have always played a certain role in society, not just with gender roles, but kind of being, in a way, inferior. And the moment women started saying, no, we don't want to play this role anymore. I'm not frying no damn egg. I'm definitely not doing no dishes. And some women are like, I don't even want to be a mother. Men were like clutching their pearls. Like, hold on, what? Hold on. And I think that's a huge part of that neck and neck, because women started saying, I want more. There's a wage gap, right?
Oh, yeah.
Correct.
So
I won't say it's part of the game, but
it is though, no?
It's a part of the game, unfortunately, that you guys got to catch up with. It sucks, but the only way I was saying earlier to help you guys get there is being smarter, finding a different way to do it. Because the old way obviously isn't working anymore.
What's the old way?
Whatever
Lifting
you
your
guys are
skirt
doing
up?
now.
Oh.
Whatever you guys do.
Hey, some have got their way to the top. Some still get their way to the top in that fashion. You know what I mean? But it doesn't work for all parties. So I just think if you're able to increase your intelligence, your capacity to help a situation better than your counterpart, you're on a good road to success from a female standpoint, which I'm not. But good luck with that.
Well, thanks for wishing us luck.
Yeah, man, it's a long race.
We appreciate that, and I hope that you're in our corner.
Absolutely. Rooting for you guys quietly.
So with all this competing going on and all of the fighting going on, do we like each other? And there's a reason why I asked this question. Do men and women, like, to the core, beneath the surface, like, really genuinely, like, do you like women?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go to break and say love, but
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with love on that one.
No, definitely. I love women. I think healthy communication is what ruins our potential in relationships, even just friends or even, getting intimate. We have not learned how to have healthy communication, being able to talk to each other with respect. I mean, look at New York right now. If you run into the average young woman right now,
Yo, my
she's
guy,
calling
calm
you
down.
bro. You know what I mean?
Who you talking to? What number you want? 911?
Yeah, you turn around and you see a whole woman behind you. It's like, yo, I thought that was a dude this whole time. Like, they, you know what I mean? Like, the communication is just not there, and it's getting worse. And we got kids growing up in this stuff. Like, it's nuts. But I think that's what I love women. I just healthy communication.
But I always feel like so many men say, I love women, I like women, but it's really what they can get from women that they love and like. Because when you listen to certain things they say and you see certain things they do, you're like, I don't think you really love or like women, because you're either by default disrespectful or abusive in some way. But because you are heterosexual, you probably enjoy having sex with women. And in your head, I love women because I can get pleasure. I can, have fun. And she can fry me an egg.
Basics. Basics, you know what I mean?
Kenny, stop.
I'm just
I don't need a lot.
Men don't need a lot. We are very simple creatures. But with that aspect, it's weird. I think men, unfortunately, we're not great at decision making sometimes when it comes to the other sex. Not that we, in my opinion, you should choose a counterpart that would benefit you in some way, whether it be at work or whether it be in a relationship. If that person, or you didn't see a future with that other person that could help you and help you make yourself whole, then you're probably there for the wrong reasons in the first place. So that conversation or that sexist viewpoint might just be, oh, you thought about going into that specific relationship. But until you make a better choice as to what this person can bring to your life to make you whole, it won't work any other way, in my opinion. But you need, I think both sexes, men should reach out to women to help them, be whole. Women should find a man that helps them be whole. And hopefully both of you guys could come together at some point and make a happy situation out of it. But a lot of times we don't make that choice, man.
Yeah.
We go with you seen that go pop? You know what I mean? And it sucks, but it's all you see as far as face value. You don't know how many books she read. You don't know how many degrees she got on a walk behind the club at 2 a.m. You just know her drink was empty, so you refilled it. This is now we're here. You know what I mean? So
now we're here in court.
now we're in court, Your Honor.
18%.
18%. I still don't know her last name.
Is that how much it is?
Yeah.
Is that how much it is?
Yeah.
Rumor has it.
I checked.
Rumor has it. You checked. Okay. Because that was my next
I definitely
question.
want to find out. Rumor has it. I would be in Guam.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm telling you. Like the other day, one of my boys was like asking me about, I'm saying like, how you feel being married and all that stuff. Like, dude, I'm looking at the divorce rate every year. And that shit is just climbing and climbing, and I do the costs and everything. I'm like, it's not worth it to get divorced. He's like, but don't you love marriage? I'm like, yeah, I love marriage, but I'm always doing the math. Like, you gotta be smart about this thing.
ooh.
Why is that?
Yeah, she took it out of my mouth. She took the question from me. I ain't want to ask it. It's not my show.
No, because I'm always a cautious person. I'm always very cautious, and I'm always very curious. So when I think about something, I start to do the research of it, and then it's implanted in my mind.
But you made a vow.
Yeah, for sure. I made a vow.
For better or worse.
Yeah.
Till death.
It's a wild contract, ain't it?
I'm telling you, till death.
Contract.
Yeah, till death. But you know what I mean? Like I'm very honest about who I am, and I'm always just going to be that person that's just always cautious about stuff. Like there's stuff that I bring up that will have people like, you said that to her, and I'm like, but I need her to know where I'm at because I don't never want
That's
her
so
to feel
important.
like we didn't talk about something. I didn't reveal something.
Yeah.
And as much as it drives my wife crazy, I think deep down she appreciates it because there's no secrets.
Yeah. Once you're honest with yourself, you appreciate when people are honest about themselves.
That's right.
Right? So I totally get that. What about leadership? Because that's, you hear women say it all the time. I want a man who can lead. And men say it too. Like, I want to be the leader here. Who's supposed to be leading in a relationship and why?
I think it's time for the women to lead. Like I'm honestly.
Because you don't want to do dishes?
Yeah, that too. Laundry, I don't want to do none of that. I want to be a stay-at-home dad and just make sure that the crib is dope, the kids are doing awesome. Like I tell my wife that all the time. Like I'm, you know what I'm saying, say sweet things. You know what I mean? If her business takes off, like I'll just do the books. I'll make sure everything is straight. But no, I honestly believe whoever has the better planning and finance acumen should be the leader. Because I think now there is so much going on in this world as far as information and building as a relationship that if you're not ready for it, you'll be 60, 70 years old and you will leave your kids nothing. Or you will leave behind nothing.
I've seen that.
You know what I mean? And that to me is worse than taking a risk and failing. Just knowing that I didn't leave nothing behind, I didn't have an impact, anything. So I think whoever comes into the relationship with that kind of skill, take the lead. I have no problem following.
But what does leadership in a relationship look like, though? Like, how do we know who?
Not to break it down to simplistic terms like this, but the man should always lead, knowing that you won't always have the best route. So your counterpart, or you should be able to listen to your counterpart when that idea is a better one. Period. Men should always be the lead, in my opinion, but being aware enough to know, like, my decision on this one or my thought process on this one may not be the best route. Let me just bounce this off my counterpart to make sure I'm at least in alignment with what we're thinking, or if her vision of something is a better one than mine. Being responsible enough, or having growth to understand and go, I had an initial view on it, but what you're saying makes a lot more sense, so let's go with your route. Like, you didn't lose control in your lead. You're still the leader, but you made a leader decision. You go, oh, what you said was better than what I had, so we're gonna run with that, see where it goes.
But what makes you the leader, though? Like,
I'm the man.
Is it because you're making the lion's share of the decisions? Like, what is it that says you're the leader? Is it?
I can bench more than you. Not just playing.
But not necessarily.
No, not necessarily. But I can. You know, and not that strength gives you the leadership role. Just more so, there's more so of a way of how our generation kind of grew up, where the man kind of was the leader of the household. I still kind of believe that at my core, but as far as me growing up in life and today, knowing that, but revisiting it, knowing that it's not just you. You're not on this shit by yourself. Be able to take advice, be able to take criticism, even when you don't want it, you know what I mean? But you got to be open enough to understand that that's always on the way. But if you could build on that.
When I hear leadership, I think of, like, let's say a captain of a ship, right? Or anybody that's leading a team. This person decides what happens.
It's a little different for me.
Open to opinion, but ultimately decides which direction this ship is going to go. Is that what leadership is in a relationship? Like,
Yeah.
we're going to Cancun, or or this is the investment we're going to do as a unit. Is that how it is?
I believe it should be.
That you make the final decision?
It's a mutual. We both came to that conclusion together, I would hope. I'm not pulling you to Cancun. I hope not. You know, I'm not forcing you to pack that bag. I pray. You know what I mean? But you lost your round, so Cancun won this year. Hopefully next year, wherever you want to go wins. But someone has to make, you know what I mean? Hopefully.
For me, it's a little different, especially when it comes to, like, kids. Like, I think that's when leadership really, like, jostled back and forth between me and her, because we were both raised completely different. So that's where, like, the title, like, I always think people confuse titles with leadership, right? Like, we look at the VP and we think that's the leader, but really he probably has somebody that reports to him that is a lot more oriented.
Did all the research.
Exactly. That's the person everybody listens to. He's just the person with the title that says yes. So in a relationship, I think what happens is there's always going to be that person that's a little bit more thought-provoking, and then there's that person that's a little bit more lax. So it's like, hey, don't put your coat there. Make sure you hang that up. Hey, make sure you did your homework. And then it's like, yo, relax. Like, he just came home. Like, let him chill, whatever. And I think, like Kenny said, you got to have that balance of, you know, sometimes your way might work, sometimes my way might work. And that leadership is going to jostle back and forth. But I love seeing people when they first have, like, kids, because that's
It's nuts.
Yeah.
It's nuts. I didn't really have that. So I like that. And I absolutely agree with that. I feel like leadership is a thing that goes back and forth depending on your strength.
Correct.
Like, are you the finance person? All right, so you figured that out. I'm the chef. I'm gonna, you know what I mean? So I like that. Okay, you kind of helped me refine my answer to that question. Like, who should lead and what leadership is. So what do you think about a man who stays at home, he fries the egg, right? And the woman is the breadwinner. Should she lead the relationship? And this is me asking Kenny specifically because it, you know, based on what you said, tradition, what we've been taught, it kind of feels like the man is the breadwinner. He brings the money in, so he gets the big piece of chicken, right? He gets to say, Is that how it works? If she's bringing in all the money, should she be the person who's like, all right, this is the decision we're making because I brought the money in?
That's a tough one, but I'm gonna still lead on the man's side, unfortunately, even though the woman may be the breadwinner in that relationship. Simply because, for whatever reason, this flipped the month after or the year after, where now I'm making more than you. So what? Now we got to change positions?
Exactly.
because my bonus is bigger than your bonus this year. You know what I mean? Like, that wouldn't really make much sense. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I would still stay with the same dynamic, but you are making bigger deposits into the savings. Like, you know what I mean? And we just understand that. You know what I mean?
That,
But
yeah.
just also know, like, you fuck up one time. You know what I'm saying? She's like, I got options. You know what I mean? So
You get
gotta be
demoted?
careful. I might get demoted. I might get demoted. Guess what? Such and such makes the same as I do, and we're a lot happier without you. Oh God, you know what I mean? You don't want to face that, but I would still stick with the same roles. Just hopefully they might be a bit more understanding, because I am home frying eggs all day.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, can I go out, baby? Please, I need a little bit of chump change. Just for this week with the boys. You know?
Yeah, we talked about that on
so
that episode.
interesting.
Getting allowance.
Ooh.
I would sign up for the whole house husband role. I'm all down. Like, you paid all the
Well,
bills.
we talked about that. I was like, you'd be okay if she said you can't get $200 this week. Like, you'd be okay with that?
Oh yeah, I was if you just come home handing the checks over. If she's hey, she has the finance backing as far as, hey, I went to college for this specifically. Like, I'm an accountant. Like, it would be stupid for me to come home like, no, I'm balancing up books. Why would you waste your time doing that? She's a professional at it.
Is this true?
In her spare time.
This is very true.
Just let it go. Like, come home, give her the check. Babe, I'm going out and get a couple dollars, please. There you go.
See, I can't do that.
Nah?
I can't. No, look, imagine I come home like, yo, babe, can I get $200 to go out with the guys this weekend?
I
Like,
give it to you.
that's
That's
crazy.
it. That's not worth that.
Because that's the dynamic.
No.
That's
You'd
crazy.
be mad
If that's the
I
dynamic,
got you, baby.
you know what? How about this? I transfer it to you so you don't have to ask. How about that? Would that make you feel better?
No.
I did my best, Kenny. I give up. I tried. I don't know what to tell you. Well, you know what? You be broke.
Yeah. You're going to be outside.
You go outside and tell your friends you don't have any money if they could.
Oh,
Yo, why you
That's
don't want to buy
cool.
this round? I ain't want to ask my lady for some money. That's a whole nother conversation now you got to have.
You know what I'm
Yo,
saying? Like,
right?
That's
This is like, slow up. Let's rewind that.
Exactly. So do you think being in a situation like that where the woman is the so-called leader, does that make you feel inferior?
No.
Yes.
But you don't want to ask for money though.
Finances are tough for me. And I know we'll get into that.
You have your own relationship with money.
Yes. Finances, me and Kenny talk about this all the time. We have two different views on managing money in a relationship. But but I don't mind, you know what I'm saying, if she made more money than me.
But do you let your pride put you in a bad place?
No.
Because I feel like that could happen. Like, oh, I don't want to tell her I don't have it for this bill, so we're going to go into defaults like, in 60 days or something like that.
No, glory to God, I've never been in a situation like that, and I've trained myself to never be in that situation. I know there's certain circumstances that I would have no control that could possibly put me there, but since I was a kid, ingrained in me, you got to make sure you got money, you got the savings, you got the emergency fund, you got the retire. Like, that shit was embedded.
So you're like,
with me
because I have
personally.
this relationship, let me keep it tight. I have this relationship with money, I need to be on my P's and Q's.
Got to.
Makes sense. Like, you can't have a weird relationship with money and then you're all over the place.
Right.
You know? So what about infidelity?
Ooh.
Is that, can we talk about that?
Oh, yeah,
Because he's
absolutely.
like,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know.
You side, right?
I just gotta get it out the way before
exhale.
We want to go with this.
Well, you know, men and women are fighting amongst each other, and in so many different ways. We fight about infidelity maybe most of the time. Is that mostly what's sending us to divorce or a breakup? Is it mostly cheating?
I won't say infidelity. It might be more jealousy in that aspect as far as who you talking to. Like, you know what I mean? It's like, nobody. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't be more than that.
Just an Instagram model.
That's it. She lives in Guam.
I just double tap.
That man lives,
Quick little
she
double
lives in
tap.
Guam, I think. I don't
Yo,
know.
there's something about that term double tap that I don't like. It's so suspicious to me.
Really? Why? Just the phrase?
Yeah,
Instead of just saying liking?
because I feel like it could mean something else.
Do tell.
Double tap.
I'm listening.
It sounds like you were probably with her twice.
Oh, I tapped twice. Oh, I was just referring to a heart.
When I hear double tap, I'm like, is this like a code for something
I
else?
will throw that in the man dictionary for later use. No, I've never used it in
flip
such a way.
Make sure you cite your source.
Yes, I
Yes.
will.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
But I do feel like the even the subtle things that happen between men and women. I saw, there's this meme with this little girl laughing, like a fake laugh, and then in the end she's like, yeah. I've watched 1,000 of those videos and I laugh every time. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
It's super viral. It's a little girl doing a
Yeah.
fake laugh, and people would put some type of sarcastic
Yeah.
caption on it. So a woman put, my husband said that we're gonna have sex later, but I've already planned that I'm gonna have a stomach ache or a headache. And the little girl is laughing, fake laugh, like you have to be there. Sorry, Kenny.
Yeah.
But I'm going through the comments because that's where I like to be. I like to see how people respond, right? The comment section is where you learn people.
That's an interesting place, man. The comments.
It's the best.
You could go down a rabbit hole in the comments of some of
Facts.
these.
But you have to not engage. That's the rule.
Let me say for viewing.
Engage if it's positive. That's my rule. If I have something positive and if I can give insight, I'll do that. But if I'm gonna go neck to neck with you, it's not happening in the comments.
It's a lose-lose.
Because I have comments that I've made on people's posts and people started arguing under my comment, and I keep getting notifications like, I think I'm gonna delete my comment. I don't wanna keep seeing them argue over my comment. But people are in the comment section responding to the woman saying, this is why, the side chick just came into the chat, or this is why men cheat, or, and if your stomach is hurting, I'm gonna be at work late, stuff like that. And I'm like, this is interesting. So are we cheating because we're not having sex?
First off, shouts to Jeezy. Real don't cheat. All right. But I won't say all that. I think it comes down to a few things. There might be boredom. There might be plateauing as far as we can go as a unit, and knowing that, but probably not having enough courage to part from it. But I think that might be some of the core purposes or reasonings for infidelity, and probably boredom again, honestly, unfortunately, and free time. If you have free time, you have free time.
That's interesting. You know what? I heard a man say one time that a lot of men cheat because they can, right? When you said free time, it brought that memory back to me. Like, I'm bored, I can, it's available, let me do it. But I'm thinking when you said, the plateauing and being bored, is that being bored in life, being bored in your relationship?
Probably could be depending on that individual. It could be either way, honestly. Whether it is just we're not doing anything else like to motivate, or we're not. This conversation just dies at the same point every time we get to it.
Let me go have sex with someone else.
I know.
Let me go clear my thoughts.
This will solve everything.
Come back
I
to the
have
table.
so much insight that I want to offer, and she doesn't communicate well, and the conversation is boring. I'm gonna go have sex, right? Is that what it is?
And infidelity isn't just sex, Nola. Okay.
So what else is it?
It could be other things.
Whoa.
Oh shit.
Here we go. Understand, this is being recorded, brother.
Absolutely. Like, infidelity comes in more forms than just physically laying down with someone. Because if you want to get to that point, it's like, well, I want a condom, baby. That ain't count. Nah, you still did it. You know what I mean? The type of sex you had doesn't make it less sexy.
So
Sex is
emotional.
sex. Yeah,
The talking.
That's a form of infidelity as well. Like, if I'm wrong, please let me know.
No, I
But
think I agree.
it's a level to it, so to speak. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I was like level 10 might be actually laying down with someone. Level 1 might just be something a lot more innocent that might lead up to something else. Like, and granted, in your head, it may never go there. You're just keeping it at a level 1 that you don't even know exists. Your partner knows that level 1 exists, and you don't. You're just thinking it's a casual, nah, we'll go here, da 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 da. Until what, hey, I'm going to such and such with such and such. Who else is going to be there? And then as soon as that question goes, you go, oh, damn, I didn't even think about that part yet. Yeah, you know what? Let's cancel this little thing we're going to go do because it feels weird now. I got a question that I didn't know how to respond to.
Then I have to zoom in on your sunglasses when I look at your pictures to see
your
reflections.
That's why I'm in a lot of mirrorless sites. But yeah, I think it really depends on how that.
I think that it's the based on the agreement within that relationship. If you talk to somebody else and I have a problem with it and you know that that's cheating, but if you talk to somebody and I'm cool with that, then it's not cheating, right? I think it depends on the individual agreements.
Correct.
Definitely.
In relationships.
I'll side with that. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, I mean, so I work with nothing but females. So I talk to females every single day. And, you know, it's interesting that Kenny points that out because people literally will come up to my wife and be like, yo, like your husband's amazing. Like he's a great listener. And
No, don't say listener.
you know what I mean? And then she comes to me and be like, why are you talking only? You know what I mean? But she is dope because she understands it. But I also have to be mindful of what Kenny's saying, right? Because in her mind, it's not me just, you know, conversating and being a friend to these women. It's getting in touch with their intellectual side, and not too many men actually listen to what they have to say.
And validating them.
Right.
Yeah.
So in that sense, they may be getting this sense of comfort with me just from that conversation. But I can't help it. I like to hear people's story. And I can't help it that if I say hi to someone, how are you? And they just open up about a bunch of stuff. And I'm just there like, all right, I got time. Like, let's talk about it.
And now you're a listener.
You know what I mean?
Look at
like,
you.
Try listening. I ain't got no time.
Look at you listen.
I ain't got no time for all that. I got about 7 seconds of this conversation is useless in my life. Oh man, look at the time. Yeah, something. I gotta go.
My dog needs to bathe.
I think my cat called me again. Let's pick this up next week.
But I do feel like Shawn's wife, she makes her presence known.
oh, for sure.
I think because one time I left a comment on your live. You guys were live like a year or two ago. And I said something in the comment and your wife jumped in. And I looked at it and I'm like, I think this might be Shawn's wife. Yeah.
This one might be attached.
Yeah. Like, I kid you not, like, we'll go to functions and they'll run up like, it's so nice to finally meet you. And she'd be like, hey.
She looking at you like, who is this? You don't want none of that non-teeth conversation.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a little bit like that. I'm very open and friendly. But if a woman approaches me that I know had some type of murky history with you, she can't touch me. Like, you're not allowed to shake my hand. You're not allowed to hug me. We're not allowed to swap. No.
Can we define murky for a second?
Murky is murky.
I don't know what
period.
murky is.
Depending on the agreement you have in your relationship, if my guy goes against that with another woman, it could be anything. It could be at level 1, level 10, whatever. If I know that's the woman and she comes to me, hi, Nola, I will stand there like a statue. Yeah.
You won't be the bigger person to shake the hand.
I am being the bigger person.
By not shaking the hand?
Don't touch me.
Ooh, space.
I would like to be back with the Doritos. Like,
Nah, you know what? That physical touch, to me, there's so much happening there, and you can't get that close to me especially if you consciously violated my relationship.
Oh,
you know? Because, you know, we all say, oh, the man is responsible. Of course he is. But if the woman is also aware of your agreement in your relationship, she knows what's up.
This is true.
Don't shake my hand.
Okay. But going back to the infidelity question, I really think it has a lot to do with finances and growth over time. And this is why I love Tyler Perry in the latest movie, Homecoming. he talks about when you get married, you're saying I do to 10 different people, because the person you saying I do to, they're not going to be that same person 5 years from now, and then another 5 years.
Me, it would be tonight.
She said, I changed it 24 hours.
Different tonight.
He said, I ain't gonna use a schizo.
But that's so important, and that's why you need that healthy communication. That's what me and my wife talk every single day about stuff like that, because we are not the same people who met each other back in 2010. And I think if people are not honest enough to have those conversations with each other and be present in each other's lives and find interest in what each other are doing, that's where you end up where Kenny said, you get bored. Now all of a sudden it's like, all right, we become roommates. We just figuring stuff out. You're faking tummy aches. You know what I mean? Just because you don't want to have sex. And listen, I'll stand by this. The minute intimacy leaves your relationship's over. And the minute you no longer desire to want to touch and feel and be, to me, the relationship's over.
And that's kind of goes with the comment I left on that post. I left a comment kind of saying, we have to normalize communicating what's happening with you. There could be hormonal issues happening with women. You know what I mean? It could be, like you said, this is a whole different person. I'm no longer into you. I don't want to have sex with you. Having those conversations and being transparent, I feel like that's a huge part of it. But I like that you said you are agreeing to marry 10 different people because that's what you have to keep saying yes to. Oh, so you gained weight. Oh, so you now like to vape.
I always just curious about that as far as like, you said you and your wife talk daily as far as where we're going, what we're doing. Now, where does growth and hypocrisy kind of sit? Like, because I said this same time a year ago, but this year is something totally different. We talked about this step until we got here, but now what you said today is not what you said 12 months ago. So I was like, oh, you're no longer that person. And you go, no, I'm not. Like, so you're a hypocrite. Because
I think
I
it's
grew out of
okay.
the person that was. So you know what I mean? So are you?
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, I am a hypocrite. I can't agree with what I said all the time when I said it, because I might not be.
I think it depends on the amount of time in between. But you also have the right to change your mind. You also have the right to form a different opinion if you learn something new.
But that doesn't work with vows.
It has to, because we're humans, and that's how we are. You know, last year I didn't want to vape, now I do. You know. So how do you resolve conflicts? Are you a
Gaslighting.
Well, we've already established that, right?
I wish we had that meme with the girl that lights up the fire. She's like,
there we go.
Gaslighting, really? That's perfect. But how do you go neck to neck, or what type of conflict resolution tactics, strategies do you implement?
It depends on the strength of voice tone coming from the other party on my end.
Ooh, that's me.
Like if we're talking,
if you're yelling at me, we yelling.
If you're talking regular,
yes.
and yours goes up 2 octaves, I'm gonna shut down. Because if I match you, then you go up another 2 octaves.
where are we going from here?
And then nothing comes out of it.
Now
Right?
the kids is like, are they talking to each other aggressively about tacos? Like, you know what I'm saying? You don't want that issue ever happening. So as soon as I see the octave rise, I kind of fall back, let you get all that out. Let me take all that in, make sure I understand you wholeheartedly, then form a rebuttal. Like, you good? You calm? You breathing? All right, this is what I feel about all that you just said. Like, you know what I mean? But to try to go
Do you take notes?
Big notes. But for you to go tit for tat in the moment,
it doesn't
usually
make
a lose
sense
lose.
because you lose your way.
you
lose your
start
way.
arguing about things that weren't even the main topic of discussion.
Yeah. Well, you was vaping in 2009.
You start bringing up dates and time.
We're talking about dishes. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I got cliff notes on everything, man. I got a good memory. So I'll be like, nah, man, in 2012, you was like, pop, pop, pop. But yeah, no, I totally agree. I think I've gotten better. I wasn't really good with conflict in the beginning. It was a lot of arguing back and forth, and especially when my son came around, because to Kenny's point, the biggest thing she told me, no arguing in front of our kid. And I failed twice at that I can remember. So now there are instances where I know in the moment, if I'm not ready to talk, I will not say anything. I'll be like, let's talk about this another time, because right now, if I say anything, it's not going to come out good, right? And then the good thing about that is once I get all my thoughts together and we sit down and we talk, maybe it'll go good depending on what the topic is. But there are moments, especially when it comes to finances, that I feel that it's tough to talk about that sometimes, because you can't talk about finances without making the other person seem inferior. Really? Depending on how they feel their relationship with money, right? And I'm trying to learn the best way to start to talk about finances without sounding like a complete asshole. You know what I mean? And that's the work that I'm doing, and I hope I get better at it, but
you will.
I feel like I'm on a timetable because these kids grow fast. We were talking about this on the way over here. Like, I feel like I got to get things ready now, like get stuff in place now. And, you know, trying to get somebody on the same page as you with finances, man, it's tough, because if their relationship with money is not good, you can't teach them about it. And then, I don't know about y'all, but in my relationship, sometimes there's a filter on certain things that don't get through. Like, if y'all can talk about your partner with anything, that's great. But there's certain things I feel like in a relationship that there's a filter there, that a word will trigger something and then the conversation goes nowhere. And in those moments, that's when I got to kind of sit back and be like, all right, you know what? I'll stop there, because I know that look. I know this conversation.
So is the filter, I have to be mindful of this particular word, not say it? Yeah. Okay. Okay. But sometimes you do say it when you don't want to continue the money conversation? Yeah. Does that happen?
Yeah.
Threw a wrench in
He's
our
like...
purpose. So, all right, how about this?
Yeah.
Good luck with
And then
that.
the crazy thing is, somebody else will say it, and it'll be like light bulb.
Okay.
That's the filter that's there sometimes. I think
Interesting.
in at least in my relationship.
yeah.
I don't know if anybody else experiences that.
Quick question on what you said, where you felt if there was some sort of tension, you were kind of like, oh, I'm good, let's come back to this later. I'm nervous to do that because I don't want to be dismissive of the situation at the moment.
I hear you.
That's why I just shut up and be like, you finished?
I think it's so good that you said that, because figuring out when that's appropriate, it's gold. Because in that moment, that fire might be boiling in that other person. And they're like, I can't wait to talk about this tonight or tomorrow.
You hit them with the, this is a lot. I need to go unpack this. I'm gonna take a hot shower and come back. That might be all the time she needs to pack a bag and not be there by the time you get out the shower.
And you want to know what's crazy? Figuring out when that's appropriate, because sometimes you have to take the so-called L and let that fire blaze inside of you and let that person go off.
Yep.
And I'm gonna wait at the bathroom door while you're taking your bath.
You got enough soap in there? All right. You got shampoo? All right. You want an extra top?
What's your ETA on the shower?
Yeah.
Nah, I feel you.
So what kind of advice would you guys give people? I'm gonna go with the romantic relationship. It could be any type of relationship, right? But because we've been talking about marriage so much, we can't help it, right? What type of advice would you give, let's say, a man struggling to connect with his person?
First, find your community. Like, I met Frank
Clearly,
Pabon.
Kenny is yours.
Yeah. Yeah, he's been married longer than me. But yeah, find your community between Kenny, another mentor of mine, Frank Pabon. He's been married for a long time. And, you know, I sit with him a lot and talk to him about what I'm going through, and he reassures me, you're fine. Yeah. You know what I mean? You're fine. Like, it's going to be rough, but as long as you guys communicate, and the more that you are interacting with each other, it lets you know that you both still care, right? So that's my first advice. Find your community. The second one, I've said it a couple of times already, healthy communication, right? You got to learn how to communicate with your person, what gets through, what doesn't get through, what are their triggers. I think a lot of people, you got to talk about what you've been through as children. Because if you don't get that history of what your partner's been through, you may just be saying things and not knowing that exactly, you're putting her or your partner in a place where that 6-year-old or that 13-year-old again, and now they're shut down or they're going off. And then the third and lastly, you know what I mean, you just don't give up unless you feel like you've exhausted all options, especially if you really care about this person. You know what I mean? There's going to be distractions, right? The Instagram models, the girls that wink at you at work. There's going to be plenty of distractions.
They wink at you?
Huh? Nobody winks at me at work.
Okay.
I've heard about that.
Right.
Kenny told me, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of distractions out there. But, you know, I think somebody just recently put it up, too. A lot of them probably really into you because you got somebody.
I said I wouldn't use profanity on this podcast.
Hey, we about 30 minutes in. That's not bad.
But facts, right? That is, guys, keep your head on. That part right there, oh, he has a girl and she looks happy. I want that. Humans. It's like, it's the thing that kids do with the toys. I didn't want the fire truck, but now that you're playing with it, I want a fire truck.
That's right.
It's human.
That's right.
The question was, how do you attract those? I'm sorry, can you repeat
What
the
advice would you give
having trouble with someone connecting, right?
a man? Yeah.
If you are having trouble connecting with the opposite sex, go keep building on yourself. Go make yourself better. Go to the gym. Go read some more books. Go to school. Go to Starbucks by yourself. Keep working on you. Keep making your energy better. Getting your levels higher in life. And then those that are meant to attract you, well, they will connect to you on that platform when you're there. Maybe right now you're just not ready. You're not attracting what you're meant to attract. So don't go chasing it because it's going to usually be a bad thing. Work on yourself. Keep improving yourself. Get your bank account up. Get your credit score up. Get all your debt down. Get your intelligence high. And then I promise you somebody will connect with you on one of those levels once you're better at whatever you're doing. Has to work. If not, you'll be the richest single nigga on the street. Like, worst case scenario. Worst case scenario. Future. Worst case scenario. And that ain't bad. He has a roster.
Yes.
It's not bad.
It's not bad.
I'm sure there's a guy out there who's like, I don't mind being rich and single.
Not at all. Not at all. If I didn't have any kids, I wouldn't mind myself.
But I like that. I like refine yourself because when you do that, you vibrate higher. And you attract someone who's vibrating on that level.
Go learn a new skill or something. Learn how to cook. I'm telling you.
Learn how to cook.
Better yourself.
Listen, if you know how to cook.
How you doing? I'm a fan. I stay around the stove. I don't use the baker thing too much, but I do stay at the top. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the cook.
Don't look.
I'm more of a fridge guy.
I order Uber Eats with the best of them, man.
You're a regular?
DoorDash connoisseur.
That doorbell's constantly.
Constantly. Right. Thank God for her, man.
So I think we're going to go into the next segment right here.
Let's do it.
What do you guys think?
I got time.
All right. So we're going to jump into the SOA Q&A where our producer, Shot of Adrenaline, asks us questions and we have to answer them. The only rule is when he asks the question, you repeat the question, then answer.
Gotcha.
Ready? Mm-hmm. All right. Where in my life am I in a bubble? Definitely socially. And I think that's always been the case. I kind of do my own thing and it could seem to some people that I'm out and about a lot, but I stick to myself a lot. I'm one of those people who love their little circle. I keep everything tight too.
Take that in a couple ways.
I was gonna let that slide. She got to the big one and now we here. She couldn't keep it in, man.
Hey, listen.
Oh my goodness. Meaning that I keep things under wraps as well. Not necessarily secrets, but I'm very private in certain aspects. So yeah, definitely. socially.
Would I rather date someone I love or date someone that loves me? I'd rather date someone that loves me. Because I could learn to love you. But it's a cool foundation knowing you already love me. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Starting out on the right foot.
I mean, we got a lot of things in common. I like me too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I think I would like to date someone that loves me if I had the choice.
All right. If people came with a warning label, my label would say Gaslight King.
Oh.
Not that. No. I think my label would say loving but chaotic, because I have a trend of being a dope friend, dope person, but then similar to being in a bubble sometimes, I have times where I seclude myself from everybody. Like, it could be a function, family function, friend function, whatever, and I'll be off in a corner just in my thoughts. And it'll confuse people and make people feel like something's wrong, or I'm not having fun, or I don't want to be there. But really, it's just when there's too much noise, I find myself removing myself.
I've always gotten introverted vibes from you. Like, you'll jump out and then jump back in. Yeah, I've always gotten that.
Can you be both at the same time? Because you are that person. Like, you can throw a party and then not show up. Like, it's weird. Like, I don't know how you do. I don't know how you balance both. Because I've seen both parts of you. Like, I've seen both parts of you the same day. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I don't know how he does that. How he does that, but salute.
I'm the same way. I'm similar.
And you throw a party and just not show up.
No, not that part.
Okay, I'm sorry.
What would I like to re-experience because I didn't appreciate it fully the first time?
These giggles, man. It's not telling.
I'm so happy this is not a say the first thing that comes to mind.
Because I see it in your face.
Because
I thought this wasn't saying the first thing that comes to mind.
hey, stop it. Nobody said that.
She went to a moment just now. I saw it in your face.
She had a couple moments.
But that's really hard. That's a really hard one. I feel like you always ask me questions I can't answer.
Oh, you won't answer.
Yeah. Excuse me. What is happening
I
here?
thought I was on the Nola road.
I thought so. I came for the experience.
I was here for this. You know what I mean?
Ba-dum-bum.
We won't judge you, guys.
You know what? No, excuse me. I'm gonna formulate a politically.
And I'll judge you.
I know. Probably childhood. Yeah, I was definitely this super straightforward, not very flexible, just tough kid. It could have been more fun for me, but I was very strategic, and even as a little kid, I was using strategy and communicating and socializing, all those things. But probably, yeah. Yeah, if somebody had said, yo, just have fun, it's okay, do it, do the thing. I'm the one who's like, I'm not doing that. I already see what's gonna happen to y'all. I'm not doing it.
I'm not climbing that shit.
I'm not doing that.
That don't look safe at all.
We're not taking all these risks, but yeah, I would probably go back and have a little bit more fun, just a little. Yeah.
I want to interject a second. If you was able to change your childhood, like, don't you think that would alter the person you are today?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Oh, you don't want to be this person?
I'm cool with who I am now, but I'm not saying, I think we're implying that if my childhood changed, that whatever happens now wouldn't be good as well. It could probably still turn out good. I'll probably be a little funner. Because I'm definitely still very much like that in some ways. But now that I know more, now that I know better, I know how to be flexible and loosen up and have a grand old time. But as a kid,
But you had parents, you had rules and regulations. So
something like that. You gotta listen to my last episode, Daddy Issues.
yeah, I seen the title. I was like, how am I get involved with this? I'm gonna go to the episode before this one. 'Cause this is not the one. I want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't need you being my therapist right now, though, Kenny.
Just here to help. Just here to help. But it's something I believed earlier in my career that I didn't think about differently now. So I have two weird aspects with that. When I was a child, don't judge me. When I was a child, really big into cartoons. Space Jam was a thing. I truly thought that I could just walk through the machine and become a cartoon and just be that. Like I would chill with bugs and be just chilling.
With the right substances, you can do that.
I was just thinking.
As a child, though, you know what I'm saying? Earlier in my life career, I thought there was, cool cartoon machine you want, man. You make that choice. But turned out that was bullshit. But a real item of that, what was, marriage actually. I was always told that it's a beautiful thing. Like, you're gonna love this. This is gonna be great.
I love it already.
Right? And then you see the divorce rate. It's crazy. It's a real thing. But I felt like that got polished real nice as far as the expectancy. And not that marriage is ugly now, but walking through it, every day you go, oh, this is what they didn't tell me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm so content with it. Don't get me wrong, but the fairy tale version of the story that you felt get pushed on you as a younger person versus reality now. You're like, oh yeah, my mom and dad ain't even making it. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like, I guess this is life. You know what I mean? But I think that misconception of what marriage was supposed to be versus what it actually is are two separate things altogether.
What beliefs would I want to pass on to my children or grandchildren? Know your history. Learn about who we are. I think now I'm learning more about my history now, being involved in the diversity work than I ever did. Like, my brother was always telling me about a lot of stuff, but now being involved in a lot of the work, learning a lot of stuff, learning that there's names and classifications for a lot of the stuff we go through, it's mind-blowing. So it would be like, know your history, know about finances. You've heard me talk about that this whole thing. I'm already talking to my son about bank accounts, how to manage his money. That's so important because nobody sat down with me when I was a kid and taught me that. But yeah, those two things, I think, history and finances. And the last thing I would really push out to them is just, confidence in yourself. The one thing I love about my son, he can sit in a crowded place and have his own fun.
Nice.
He just needs his own company and he's good. And that gives me solace because now I know he can go out into the world and not really need to fit in with people. He'll be fine. So I hope they all have that.
It's funny you said know your history because I remember when I met my in-laws before they were my in-laws, that first introduction. Hey, what are you? I'm like, I'm black. And it was like, they looked at each other, yeah, but where are you from? I'm like, oh, Brooklyn. And they're still looking at me, looking for more like an in-depth answer. And I'm just like, I'm looking at my girlfriend's /wife, and I'm like, he's like, are you Jamaican? I'm like, oh, no. My parents are from down south, so American, Black American, African. I don't know the root of where the African part started in my life, so I'm just Black American. And they just kept looking at me like, this ain't gonna be around too long. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like, but as far as knowing your history, I never died beyond like my grandparents. As far as mom Brooklyn, dad Brooklyn, his mom and dad both down south. Mom's mom and dad. Like, I'm just like, I go as far as North Carolina, my man. I don't know much beyond that. Right. I never did the ancestry thing. I never, spit in a piece of paper and just sent it off and let them come back. I'm Irish. You know what I'm saying? I never did that. So I still to this day truly don't know my history beyond great-grandma tops, and that's North Carolina. Like, you know what I mean? I don't go beyond that. So I tell people, yeah, I'm African American, but I can't.
So your history is 8 hours away.
Yeah,
that's
as far as it goes, man. I mean, 7 if you got a heavy foot. Like, you know what I'm saying? But it's like that's as far as I go with the history thing. So I still need to do personal research. A little hesitant on Ancestry.com. It's just some things I don't think I want to know. about my history, but I don't really know my own. And we related. That was crazy.
Okay, so this segment is our happy habit segment, and I am going to ask you guys what a habit is that you do either periodically or daily that brings you joy.
I like to tell my kids I love them as often as I possibly can, but I try to do it at moments when they are pissed. You know what I mean? Just to let them know, like, hey, I know you're not happy, but I need you to understand and know that I still love you for who you are, regardless of what we just yelled at you about. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, you're still loved. Please always know that. You know what I mean? Because, you know what I mean? That kind of brings me joy. Not that I didn't get enough love as a kid. I'm pretty sure I did. I don't remember. But
Damn.
I like to, just let them know that as often as I can. You know what I mean? Because I am guilty of not saying it every day. And it's not that I don't. Just, life happens. And you just don't get to say that little couple of words to each kid every so often. So I do try my best and to do that as often as possible. That brings me
I love that. That's dope. That's dope. I'm liking you more and more.
I'm sorry, something we started at hate. Like, man, he said, I'm 6 feet deep. I know, I'm gonna see you when I get up the ground. Oh man.
What about you?
For me, it's reminding myself and people that they are valued. I think we are in tough times now where we often question ourselves about, am I doing enough? Imposter syndrome kicks in, and so you have to remember all the great things that you do and what you mean to people. And so in those really dark moments when I'm there or when I see somebody there, I like to just go through the highlight reel of everything that they've done. And if you just settle in on that focus and that feeling for a moment, it will get you through that tough time. You know what I mean? Anything outside of that, I mean, you're probably going through something a little bit tougher, but I think that's the one thing that I like to do all the time.
Wow, both of you acts of service.
That's what we do.
Nice.
FCP.
All day.
All right, so let's promote your podcast and talk about your wife's business too.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, so listen, we are Freedom Cage Podcast, man. You can catch us on all podcast platforms. Make sure you subscribe. We are also live on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. Make sure you tap in, follow us on all social media platforms. And listen, man, I'm Senor Lee.
Kenkapnik.
You know what I mean? So each and every 1st and 15th, we drop a new episode. And also, if you love baked goods, desserts, treats, all that good stuff, man, follow Shay Sweet Things LLC on Instagram. She also has a website. That's my wife, man. She does amazing things, and you will not be disappointed.
Beautiful. That's it. Thanks, guys.
Thank you. This was awesome.
Did you guys rehearse? Yes, you did. You did that in the car. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Appreciate this.
Thank you for tuning in to the TkACTN podcast. Created and hosted by Nola. Produced by Take Action Media. Theme song by Mr. Melee. Sponsored by The Hills Restaurant, Brooklyn, New York. Listen to us on all podcast platforms and follow us on social media at the TkACTN podcast. Visit thenolaroexperiespodcast.com and connect with us via email at talkwithnola@gmail.com.